Yeah, there are jaguars and snakes and quicksand.
Types of Ineffective Listening by Kimberly West, Candace McKean, and Brittany Spagnolo.
There are 7 types of ineffective listening: pseudo-listening, stage-hogging, selective listening, insulated listening, defensive listening, ambushing, and insensitive listening.
Pseudo-listening is an imitation of true listening in which the receiver's mind is elsewhere. Pseudo-listeners give the impression of being attentive by looking you in your eye, nodding or smiling at the right times, and possibly answering occasionally. However, behind this impression, pseudo-listeners are thinking about something else that is on their mind that is more important than listening to what you have to say. The following video is an example of pseudo-listening.
Look at these wrinkles. What is holding this woman together? What the? How long has that been there?
Stage-hogging listeners are individuals who turn the topic of conversation to themselves instead of showing interest in what the speaker has to say. This is referred to as shift response. In addition to turning topics around to themselves, stage-hogging listeners also use interruptions to convey the topic back to them. The following video is an example of stage-hogging.
Oh my gosh, I have so much stuff due this week, like it's ridiculous.
You think that's bad? I have 3 assignments, 2 tests, and 1 midterm this week.
Selective listening is a listening style in which the receiver only responds to messages that interest them and they reject everything else. However, selective listening can be legitimate, for instance when we screen out radio commercials or keep an ear cocked for our favorite song. With that said, selective listening is less appropriate in personal settings when your obvious inattention could insult the other person. The following clip portrays selective listening.
So my boyfriend took me to Toronto this weekend, and we went out to dinner all packed up, and then he had basketball tickets.
Insulated listening is a style in which the receiver ignores undesirable information. Instead of looking for something that is of interest in a conversation, insulated listeners avoid conversations that are about certain topics that they would rather not deal with. This means that they can simply fail to hear or acknowledge the specific topic. An example of insulated listening can be seen in the following clip.
Kid, your results for your iron test have come in, and your iron's low. You should probably start taking pills so that it gets back up to normal.
Yeah, I know.
Defensive listening is a response style in which the receiver perceives a speaker's comments as an attack. Many defensive listeners suffer from shaky present images and avoid admitting it by projecting their own insecurities onto others. The following video is an example of defensive listening.
Oh man, what did you think of that midterm?
It was pretty hard.
Pretty hard. No, man, that was so hard. We definitely need to study next time, a lot harder.
Are you trying to say I didn't study? Because I've been studying for like 3 weeks, really hard.
That's definitely not what I meant.
Ambushing is a style in which the receiver listens carefully in order to gather information to use in an attack on the speaker. They collect information from the conversation carefully to be able to attack what you say. An example of ambushing would be a cross-examining prosecution lawyer. This kind of listening initiates defensiveness in the other person. In the following clip, ambushing occurs.
To appreciate you are still under oath.
Yes.
Mrs. Helm, do you know a man named Max?
I don't know what you mean.
It's a simple question. Do you or do you not know a man called Max?
Max? Certainly not.
It's a fairly common name, and yet you mean you've never known a man with the name of Max.
Oh, in Germany, perhaps, but that was a long time ago.
I shall not ask you to go back that far, just a few weeks to, October the 20th.
Insensitive listening is the failure to recognize the thoughts or feelings that are not directly expressed by a speaker. Instead, they accept the speaker's words at face value. People often don't express their thoughts or feelings openly, but instead communicate them through a subtle or unconscious choice of words or nonverbal cues, or both. Insensitive listeners aren't able to look beyond words and behavior to understand the hidden meaning. In the following clip, insensitive listening is presented.
Hey guys, want to hang out?
We have that thing to work on.
What thing?
You know, that thing.
Why are you hitting me?
And this concludes our video on ineffective listening.
Listen to the song here in my heart, a melody I start but can't complete.